Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, way to use hash table in real time in Java. Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. We can use hash table in real time in Java programming when you have to store the data in the form of key value pairs. Now you can ask me, if you have to store the data in the form of key value pairs, it's not only hash table that is available in Java, we can also use hash map also. Then when to use hash map or when to use hash table, how to decide? Both hash map and hash table will store the data in the form of key value pairs. Okay. The purpose of using the hash table or hash map is like to store the data in the form of key value pairs. That is the main requirement. But when to use hash map, when to use hash table is again a question. So here, along with the key value pair storing of the data into the hash table, if you want to write the program in a thread safe way, in a multi-threaded programming environment where in a single program, multiple threads are okay, simultaneously multiple activities are running with the help of threads. That is called as multi-threaded program or multi-threaded environment. Okay, there is a possibility that one activity may disturb the other one. Okay, may interfere with the or interrupt the other one. In multi-threaded programming, what is the problem? Since multiple threads will be running at the same time, there is a possibility that one of the thread may interrupt the other thread and disturb its activity. That will happen in multi-threaded programming. So, but if you use hash table, it's a thread safe, guys. Completely thread safe. Thread safe means there is a guarantee that even though there are multiple threads running at the same time or simultaneously in the Java program is running and the Java program is running, thread safe means any thread will not disturb other thread. Okay, there is no possibility of one thread coming and interrupting the other thread and causing problem to the running of the program. Okay, the interruption will not happen because it is thread safe. Hash table is a thread safe case. Okay, when you compare hash map and hash table is a thread safe, and even though your programs are running in a multi-threaded way, because of the automatic thread safe capability of the hash table, the other threads will not interact with the threads will not interrupt the other threads. Even though the programs are running in a multi-threaded environment, at the same time, the data is getting stored into the hash table in key value pairs. Okay, key value pairs, thread safe in multi-threaded environment or programming. In that situations, we have to use a hash table in simple words. Okay, let me explain more about the hash table and compare that hash table with the hash map, whether people still use hash table in real time. Okay, so what exactly is the current situation? Okay, but if someone asks you at a high level, where to use hash table in real time, if you want to store the data in the form of key value pairs in collections framework, you have to use hash table. And that too, that may not be only reason, because hash map and hash table will do the same thing. That is, will store the data in the key value pairs. But over the hash map, when we have to go with the hash table, when you want to store this kind of key value pairs in hash table in a thread safe environment where multi-threaded programming or multi-threads are running, in such kind of cases or situations, we go with the hash table in real time is the answer for this particular straightforward answer for the question. But to get this idea about this answer in a very detailed manner, I'll explain few more points so that you'll be able to confidently answer this particular question to the interviewer in a better way. Okay, so hash table should be used in multi-threading applications. Okay, in which situations? When you write the Java programs where multi-threads related functionality you are developing and all, right? As part of developing the multi-threading applications where multiple threads doing different activities simultaneously are required. In such kind of programming, we generally go with the hash table, guys. Though hash table will store the data in the key value pairs, but it is useful to be used in multi-threaded applications as multiple threads will be running, and those multiple threads should not interrupt any of the threads. Okay, as it is thread safe and synchronized, so automatically it's thread safe, guys. In a multi-threaded environment also, application also, there is a possibility that a thread will come and disturb your programs or the current thread or whatever it is. In such situation also, since it is thread safe by default, automatically thread safe, as hash table is automatically thread safe. Okay, you don't have to separately implement any synchronization mechanism, or explicit synchronization mechanism is not required. Automatically by default it is thread safe, where other threads will not come and interrupt the threads. Okay, threads will not go and interrupt the other threads, so they are running a multi-threaded environment in a application in a thread-safe manner is something that Hashtable is all about. Should be used, okay? Should be used in multi-threaded. If it is single-threaded, is it okay to use Hashtable in single-threaded environment? What is the purpose of using? Even though this particular Hashtable use key value pairs to store the data in the form of key value pairs, but in single-threaded environment, what is the purpose of the thread set? So it's not useful at all. Okay, there is no need to use, and also it's a problem also because okay, I'll tell you in the reasons when I compare this. So when I compare the hash map with the hash table, right, you will know more about when to use hash table, guys. I'll expand this and show you. Coming to the hash table, it's synchronized, guys. Synchronized automatically thread safe, guys. Threads will not interrupt the other threads, even though it's threads are running in multi-threaded and suitable for multi-threaded needs. Okay, you should not be using hash table in a single threaded where only one thread is running, right? Program is running with single thread, right? There it is not recommended to use hash table, guys, but it is suitable for multi-threaded because it is by default thread safe and it's kind of synchronized because of the thread safe nature. No threads are going to interrupt the other threads. Okay, can be shared between multiple threads without additional synchronization code. Automatically synchronization is there, thread safe nature is there in the multi-threaded environment. So no need to explicitly call some methods to make the synchronization or thread safe possible. Okay, this synchronization comes at the cost of performance. This is the problem. Okay, this is the problem where this synchronization comes at the cost of performance. Means since there are multi-threaded environment, in order to make this particular program thread safe and synchronized, right, what Hashtable will do is, Hashtable mechanism will do is, it will slow the program down a bit, okay, to manage multiple threads and make sure that the other threads are not interrupting the threads, okay, threads are not interrupting the other threads, okay. Some kind of slowness will be definitely there and impact will be there on the performance because Java as part of Hashtable has to make sure that no threads are interrupting the other threads. So due to this extra activity that need to be done, programs become slow. Performance will be impacted a bit when compared to the hash map and all. Hash table will be slow. Program will become slow. But if you use this hash table in a single threaded context, okay, hash table is suitable for multi-threaded context, okay, where multiple threads will be running simultaneously, and there is a possibility that one thread may interrupt the other thread, and because of that, thread safe is required. Even though the performance will be impacted, the program will become slow. Even though we need that because slowness is not that much a big deal when compared to the threads getting interrupted. So in multi-threaded environment, slowness is okay and hash table can be used. But if you are using hash table in a single threaded context, that is a bad idea. Why? Because by default hash table has this thread safe mechanism where it will stop the other threads coming and interrupting the threads. So that thing, that kind of advantage or what I can feature is already there in the hash table, because of which in single threaded context also hash table keep looking for stopping the other threads coming and disturbing the threads. Since this is a default feature of the hash table, it is not a good idea to use hash table in single threaded context, because in single threaded also it will maintain the thread safe and programs will run slow, guys, due to its slower synchronized nature. Hash table is generally slower, and even though single threaded, there is no possibility that other threads will interrupt the thread. So in that case also the program will run slower by default because of the synchronization and thread safe nature of the hash table. Okay, that's where hash table should be used in multi-threaded environment, and it's automatically thread safe and to store and will store the data in the form of key value pairs. These are the requirements, guys. We should not be using hash table in the single threaded context. We have to use hash table in multi-threaded concept because automatically hash table is a thread safe and it stores the data in the form of key value pairs. And next thing about the hash table is it doesn't allow null values, guys. If you try to store any null values into the hash table in the form of key value pairs, some null values if you try to store, right, okay, then you'll get null pointer exception, guys. So hence these are some extra things. Main thing when you have to use hash table is this one, guys, and the extra things like doesn't allow null values. Okay, legacy. Next thing that you have to know about hash table is, okay, the answer is already covered, guys, but I'm explaining few more features about the hash table where it doesn't allow the null values. To try to store some null values into the hash table, right, it will give you null pointer exception when you run the programs. And the other thing is like it's a legacy one, is it's already outdated, guys. Hash table is already outdated. No one is using in real time. That's another main thing, it's a legacy feature, guys, for backward compatibility. If in case there are some applications which have already used hash table and they came to the latest version of Java and still they don't want to change the code that has been written in the form of hash table. That's the reason hash table still exists in the it is outdated, but still it is available in the latest versions of Java to provide backward compatibility. To provide the backward compatibility, this hash table is still there, but it is not encouraged to use. Okay, if you're using hash table nowadays, at this it's 2024 when I am recording this particular session. At this period of time or later, if you are trying to use hash table, developers are not encouraged to use the hash table because it's already a legacy feature and is only there in Java. Latest versions of Java, it's not even removed. Why? Because for backward compatibility, it's still there in the Java. Don't try to misuse that. Even though it is a legacy feature, we should not be using that hash table, guys. Okay, because it's a legacy feature and it's just there for to make the old programs compatible. It's still there, but otherwise you should not be using the hash table. If you get an opportunity, even though there is a multi-threaded environment, even though hash table is a thread safe, even though hash table can store key value pairs, but still we should not be using the hash table. Rather than hash table, we have to go with other things, guys. I'll tell you what are the other things. Okay. So considered a legacy class, originally part of the earlier versions of Java, although still available, it is generally recommended to use newer classes unless thread-safe synchronization is specially required. It's generally not recommended to use this legacy class case. Instead, you just go with the concurrent hash map. Okay, along with the hash map, there is something known as concurrent hash map, which is thread-safe. Okay, efficient alternative to the hash table for thread-safe operations in Java. So whenever you get a possibility of storing the data in the form of key value pairs in collections framework kind of classes in Java, right? Instead of using hash table, use concurrent hash map, which is a modern one, which is efficient and alternative to the hash table for thread safe operation in multi-threaded environment. You can use a concurrent hash map instead of the hash table. This is a proper alternative, and just hash table is a legacy one, which is there still in our collections framework just to make the current programs compatible with the older versions of Java. That is the only reason it is there, guys, but it's not encouraged to for the developers to still use hash table in this generation for this particular purpose. Rather use concurrent hash map in this kind of situations where hash table is required. Okay, so you have to explain this, guys. This point is very important. Legacy feature is very important, and what is the alternative you have to explain, guys. Okay, otherwise it won't be good. Hash table remains in the Java primarily for backward compatibility and ensuring that old code that relies on it can still run without any modification. So that's the only reason it is there, but it's not encouraged to be used in the current context. So instead, we have to go with the concurrent hash map, which is also thread safe in multi-threaded environment. Okay, which also stores the data in the form of key value pair. Okay, and now comparing the hash table with the hash map, you can clearly see that the normal hash map is not synchronized, guys. It's not thread safe. It's not thread safe, guys. In multi-threaded environment, you cannot generally use that. There is a possibility that if you use hash map for storing the data in key value pairs in a multi-threaded environment, if since hash map is not thread safe, there is a high possibility that the threads will interrupt the other threads, and because of which the problems will come in our when you run the code. Okay. So, and there is a way that if you are using hash map still in multi-threaded environment, we have it's no automatic thread safe mechanism is there in multi-threaded environment. If you have to use hash map, it's not recommended, guys. It's better recommended to use concurrent hash map over hash map. But if you still try to use hash map in the multi-threaded environment, even though it's not automatically thread safe, you have to explicitly handle the synchronization, guys. There are some kind of methods and all. Okay, or you directly go with the simple way is that go with the concurrent hash map instead of the hash map. You go with that, automatically thread safe will be there. If not, you want to like it's like in a car, manual gears will be there, automatic gears will be there, right? In concurrent hash map, auto gear kind of car is there. Is normal hash map in multi-threaded environment, we have explicit sorry, hash map is like manual gear kind of thing. Explicitly you have to change the gears, right? Like that, explicitly you have to handle the synchronization problems that may occur because in multi-threaded environment there is a possibility that threads may interrupt other threads. Okay, or directly go with the concurrent hash map, which is a direct alternative for the hash table, which actually is a thread safe in multi-threaded environment. So hash map is generally used in a single threaded environment, guys, because it's kind of faster when compared to the hash table. Since no default thread saving mechanism is not there and synchronization is not there, generally it's preferred to use hash map to store the key value pairs in a single threaded environment. It's not suitable for the multi-threaded. If you want to use, there's a possibility of doing the manual way by explicitly handling the synchronization, you are avoiding the problems, or directly go an alternative for the hash table, that is concurrent hash map, which is a modern one, which is a automatic thread safe. Okay, so it will be faster because there is no thread safe mechanism. It will be faster and it will be single threaded environment. So with these details, hope you got some idea about way to use hash table in real time, guys. I explained in very detail. Let's go with the practical demonstration also, how to use how to just use, guys. Okay, I don't want to explain, this is theoretical question only. I already gave the answer, but just to get a feel of how to use a hash table, right, I'm going to, okay, just to get a feel of how to use a hash table, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to create a new package, guys. I'll just create a new package. I'll just name this package as collections framework. Okay, and here I'm going to create a new class, hash table demo. I'll just demonstrate the hash table, guys. I don't have to prove that it is a thread safe and all those stuff. Okay, simply hash table demo, I'll say hash table demo. Just want to write and show you one sample program using hash table, how hash table will store the data in the form of key value pairs, how to add the data to the hash table, how to retrieve the data from the hash table, what are the different methods are there. I'm going to show you. It's similar to the hash map, guys, but it's only thread safe, whereas hash map is not thread safe, and hash table is legacy. And in place of the hash table, concurrent hash map we have to use if you want a thread safe in multi-threaded environment kind of situation. Okay, so anyhow, hash table, let's try this. Hash table is equal to new hash table. Let's try this out and see whether I'm writing the class name in a proper way or not. Hash table, over the mouse on the hash table. I think this T should be in lowercase, I feel, over the mouse. Now, if I'm getting import, yeah, this is the correct way, guys. Okay, it just thought like whether I'm doing some wrong here. T should not be capital here. T should be small. Hash table here also hash table. You take like this. You create an object, guys, and here we have to give the generic type. Generic type. What type hash table? Sorry. Here we have to give the generic type, which type of data you want to store in the form of key value pairs. For example, string, and second one is object, I'll say. Okay, generally, okay, we can. So here, what I'll do is hash table. How to add the data into the hash table? Hash table dot add off. Hash table dot start put method you have to use. Put off. I'll just write first name. First name is a key, and value is key value pairs you have to store. Value is Arun. Let's say my first name is Arun. Okay. Then hash table put off last name. So last name. So here last name is there, and here I'll write down. Okay, fine, done. This is also done. Hash table dot put off location. I'll give the location, guys. Location. I'll give the location as Hyderabad. Okay. Then hash table dot put off experience string format, but here value should be in integer format. 18 years of experience. Okay, 18 years of experience. And then like that, you can give anything, guys, any type of data you want to give. Hash table dot put off profession. Okay, I'll write down here as trainer. Okay, trainer, software trainer. Okay, software trainer and IT employee. I was an earlier IT employee, currently software trainer. So I'll just currently software trainer. So I'll just write down hash table dot put off working status. Am I working anywhere? Let's say. Okay. Work status or working status. I'll just give a Boolean value here. Just I want to give different false. I'll say I'm not working anywhere. Sometimes I work in a contract manner for corporate training. So I'll just give some realistic data here of mine. Okay. And I would like to print out, I would like to retrieve this data, guys. So system.out.println. Okay. Hash table. This object reference of the hash table is hash table. HT also I can say. If you want any short term, you can say HT. No problem. HT. Okay. You can give any name here. Not a big deal. HT. The values can be of any data type. It can be string or it can be integer. It can be Boolean, because that's the reason we kept object here. But keys are already in string type. That's the reason string letters I have given HT. So HT dot will be simple to use. HT dot get method. Inside the get method, I have to provide the key. For example, if I say first name, what will be retrieved? If I give the key as a first name here, this particular first name key, if I give here, in the get method, it will retrieve my first name, that is Arun, will be retrieved and printed in the output console. System.out.println. I'll give something like ht.get off, and here I'll give this experience. I'll not print all the details. I'll just retrieve few details. Here experience means what experience 18 will be printed, retrieved and printed. The value along with the help of the key, the value will be retrieved. Associated value will be retrieved. And here working status ht.get. I'll just give something like working status. I'll say working status, and here comma I'll say false. Okay, sorry, I have to, this has to retrieve, so I should not give, sorry, it has to retrieve that false will be retrieved and printed. Now run this code and see that how the hash table works. Now this is a program, sample program of hash table, and this hash table need to be used in Java programming to store the data in the form of key value pairs. To store the data in the form of, to work with the key value pairs, you have to use hash table, but hash table is generally preferred in multi-threaded environment because automatically hash table is a thread safe, where in multi-threaded applications, right, when multiple threads are running simultaneously, there is a because of the automatic thread safe mechanism in hash table, threads will not get interrupted even though you write this program. Okay, but it is a legacy one, guys. The current modern alternative for the hash table is a concurrent hash map. Okay, which is also thread safe, and it can be used in multi-threaded applications in place of the hash table. This is just a context, guys, how to use hash table and all. Okay, run. This is the code, guys. I've run this, and you see you got the value around 89 false tape. Around 18 false will come, I told you. So if you want to practice this program, guys, you can take a screenshot. Anyhow, it's not recommended for developers to use this because it's a legacy one. Okay, it's still there for just for backward compatibility for the older one. The people who have written the code using the older versions of Java, right? Still they can use a hash. Their code may be there, older code in the very older applications will still be there. The code don't have to be updated. That's the reason hash table is still available in the latest versions of Java, but it's not recommended to use. In place of that, concurrent hash map need to be used. So hope, guys, you have taken the screenshot with practical demonstration and complete details about what is a hash table, whether it need to be used or okay, in which environment it has to use. It's a kind of legacy one, and all those details, what is alternatives for the hash table, everything I covered in this session. If you are able to give the gist of this kind of answer in the interview questions when you get this particular question right, definitely the interviewer will get impressed with your knowledge. Okay, so that's all for this session, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, what is the difference between volatile and transient keywords in Java? There is no particular difference between the volatile and transient keyword in Java. In fact, volatile and transient keywords in Java programming can be specified before the variables. That is a common point. Okay, the common point between the volatile and transient keywords in Java is these two keywords can be specified before a variable. But what will happen when you specify the volatile keyword before a variable? What will happen when you specify the transient keyword before a variable? The purpose is completely different, guys. If you are able to explain what will happen if you specify the volatile keyword before a variable in Java to the interviewer, then you are able to, this volatile is done. If you are able to answer what will happen if you specify the transient keyword before a variable in Java to the interviewer, then that's the answer for this question, guys. There is not much different because the purpose of this volatile and transient is entirely different from each other. There's no common point except that these two keywords can be specified before the variables. Okay, so if you can explain the purpose of specifying this volatile keyword and transient keyword before the variables, that is the answer for this question, guys. Nothing more than that. Coming to the volatile, guys, let's start with the volatile, then go with the transient, and along with the practical demonstration in this session. First, I'll go with the volatile keyword, guys. So volatile is one of the keywords in Java, guys, that can be specified before the variables, as I told you. Okay. So for what type of variables, for what variables you will specify volatile keyword in Java? The variables that can be modifiable by multiple threads. If you are working in a multi-threaded environment or multi-threaded application where multiple threads are running simultaneously at the same time they are running and they want to operate a single variable, okay, multiple threads want to operate a single variable. In such kind of cases, we generally specify the variable as volatile case. When multiple threads are working with the same variable, we need to, okay, make sure that changes made by one thread are visible to others. For example, there are 10 threads in a program, 10 threads are doing different activities and they want to work with the same variable. If one of the thread in the 10 threads goes and updates the value of the variable, then remaining threads can see that updated value by the thread one. Remaining 9 threads can see the value that is updated by the first thread. Okay, so that's what is that's what where you have to specify volatile keyword before the variables for such kind of variables which are operated by multiple threads, which can be modifiable by multiple threads, where one thread makes a changes to the variable, remaining all threads should be able to see that particular change. Okay, such kind of variables in Java in multi-threaded kind of programming, we use volatile keyword case. When a variable is declared as volatile, Java ensures that any read or write to that particular variable, okay, any updates in the form of read or write from that variable is done directly from to the main memory. How this can be possible, guys? How can variable become a common variable for all these multiple threads to get operated, where one thread make the changes and the change is visible to all the remaining threads? It's because the ensures that this particular read or write operations of that particular value of the variable is directly done from the main memory. In the main memory, the data of that particular variable will be stored. That access to that main memory, okay, will be there for the threads, multiple threads. That's the reason if any particular thread, if you make it, if any particular variable you specify as volatile, right, that variable will store the value into the main memory from which read and write access will happen, so that every thread will have the access and we'll get the update of the latest change that has been done to the value of the variable. Okay, variable's value. That means ensures changes made by one thread are visible to the other threads without additional synchronization. By default, synchronization is there, guys, here. Okay, by default, synchronization is there. You don't have to specially do something so that remaining threads get the latest updated value of the variable. Okay, so since in the memory is main memory, guys, main memory, in the main memory, the value of this particular variable specified with volatile keyword will be saved, and hence multiple threads can operate on the same variable which is specified as volatile, and any changes done to that particular variable by a thread is visible to the other threads. Okay, okay, is visible to the other threads without any extra settings or extra calls or methods to be called. Okay, directly by default it can be done. Let me give an example of this volatile case, which is very easy. Okay, I'll just give you an example of the volatile. I'll just close this and go here, and simply I'll just create here. Already many packages are there. I'll create one more package, guys. Okay, I'll just create a new package, just some random package, guys, nothing much. Volatile, and transient. Like this, I'll create a package name, some random package name. Under this package name, I'm going to create a new class. I'll just name this class as volatile demo. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate this keyword known as volatile keyword by writing this particular code, guys. Okay, so volatile demo. Okay, this main method is there. That's okay. Leave it. And here I'm going to create another class, guys. Inside the same Java file, I'm going to create another class, guys. For example, I'm going to create a class like car class. Okay, I'm creating a car class. Inside this car class, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a variable, guys, string color. Just create a variable like private string color, guys. Okay, and I'll make this particular variable as volatile. Like this, we have to add, guys. Okay, volatile keyword before the particular variable, we have to add private volatile name of before this particular variable added volatile, guys. I'll create some methods here like public void set color. Okay, set method. So here I'll simply say this dot set color, and I'll get the color here, string color. This dot color is equal to color. I'll say this dot color is equal to color, and similarly the updated color you want to access. Let's say this is a sample program, guys. Here, for example, this kind of particular code you are using in a multi-threaded environment. Okay, the updated value of this particular variable, volatile specified variable, will be visible to remaining threads, guys. Okay, this particular code that I am writing here is being run in a multi-threaded way. Okay, the value that is updated for this particular color, okay, by one thread will be visible to other threads, because this particular value of this particular volatile variable will be stored in a main memory, which is common for all the threads. Okay, that's what is the context. Here get color is very simple program, guys. Get color, and here it's going to return color, guys. Return the color that got updated, and here the return type will be string. That's okay. Now here write the code, guys. Once this is how we have to use a volatile keyword before the variables, guys, and this particular method, this particular keyword will make this particular variable as this particular volatile will make this particular variable common kind of thing for all the threads in multi-threaded programming. Okay. Now here I'm going to create an object for the car class. Let's say car1 is equal to car C1 is equal to, otherwise car C1 is equal to new car, like this. Okay. And I'm going to set the color now. C1 dot set color. I'm going to set the color, guys. C1 dot set color. And here I have to give some color like, black color. Okay. And now I want to get the color system.out.println C1 dot get color. Okay. The color will be retrieved. Okay. This is a program that anyone can write. Guys. This is a program that anyone can write. Okay. The program that anyone can write. Only the thing is that you have to understand the basics here, guys. How to use a volatile keyword for that purpose. But this particular volatile keyword, when used with multi-threaded programming, right? Okay. Will any changes that happen to the value of this particular variable, right, will be visible to the remaining threads. Okay. If you are using this particular program in a multi-threaded environment, any changes happen to this value of this particular variable will be visible to the remaining threads because this particular variable is specified with the volatile keyword. Run this code, guys, and you will see that the black color will be printed in the output. And that's the only thing. Even though you use volatile, it is going to work fine, and you'll get the black kind of color printed in the output console. Okay, this is how we can use volatile keyword in Java programming. If you want to take a screenshot, guys, take a screenshot, and okay. So that's all about the volatile related stuff, guys. This how you can explain the volatile, okay, keyword. And coming to the next one, that is a transient. I gave you the example, guys. I'll just copy paste this example for you. Copy paste this in the notes. I'll just provide this as part of the notes so that, okay, some demonstration of how to use a volatile keyword. And in multi-thread, the concept is more, guys, than the practical demonstration of how to use a volatile keyword. The concept is very important here, that volatile will make this particular variable common for all the threads, so that if any changes are done by one thread to this particular variable mentioned as volatile will be visible. That latest change will be visible to the remaining things because the particular value of that particular volatile variable will be stored in the main memory. Okay, directly accessed from the main memory instead of the threads, individual threads local memory. The value of this particular variable specified as volatile will be stored in the main memory instead of the individual threads local cache or something. Okay, that's what is volatile, guys. Now let's move on to the next one, guys. What will happen if you specify this transient keyword before a variable in Java? Let's understand here. The purpose is completely different from the volatile, guys. There is no, the question is there like this, but you have to ultimately explain the what is the purpose of the transient. You don't have to worry about comparing volatile with transient here in this case of answering this question. So transient is a keyword in Java used to indicate that a variable should not be serialized. Okay, transient is a keyword that is specified before a variable in Java to indicate that that particular variable should not be serialized. Okay, why we have to serialize, you have to understand. Okay, here the concept is that you are specifying the transient keyword before a variable, okay, whose value should not get serialized. But why we generally in Java programming go for serialization or deserialization? If you want to convert the, okay, object into some byte code for transferring purpose, if you want to store that particular object in your machine, a particular Java object, if you want to store in your machine, right, that object has to be converted to the byte code. Okay, while converting that into the byte code, okay, you don't want this particular this particular process of converting the object to the byte code to store in a database or your computer machine or wherever the file or something, right? This process is called as serialization. During this process, the variables that are specified with transient keyword, those values of those variables will not be stored in that byte code. Okay, during the serialization process, storing will not happen, guys. Storing will not happen. Remaining all other variables which are not specified with the transient keyword, okay, they will be converted into the byte code and their values will be stored in the, we can retrieve them later after storing into the computer memory or into the database or whatever the text files, etc. But the variables which are specified with the transient keyword, those values are not generally stored. Even though you do serialization, right, during the conversion process, storage will not happen. Okay, so I'll give you one example, guys. Okay, I'll give you one examples. That is, here is one example. Sometimes you don't want certain fields to be saved to the disk during serialization. That is by converting the object to the byte code to store into your local machine or your computer or your database or some text file, right? the sensitive information like password should not be stored into your computer, okay, from that particular program, let's say, okay, during the serialization process of converting the object into the bytecode, okay. So it's a very difficult, typical topic, but try to understand. I'll try to give more examples, guys, okay. Imagine of a toy box, okay. There is a box containing, let's say you went to a shop and, there is a box with a lot of toys, like in that particular box, right? Some 3 to 4 toys will be there. Let's assume that, okay, it's a collection of toys. You can purchase that box so that you can get all the 3 toys or 4 toys together. Now, in that one of the toy is a secret toy, okay? So remaining 3 toys are okay. You can share when you take a picture of that toys, right? One surprise toy or secret toy is there that you don't want to reveal to others. Let's say, okay, you brought that particular toy box to your home, and you have taken a picture, and now your, let's say, your kid want to share that particular toys with his friend over the phone or something, by sending the picture over the WhatsApp. Your kid want to take a photo, but you don't want your kid, let's say your kid don't want to say that this particular toy exists with him, only with his friend. You want to share only 3 toys. The other type don't want to share in that particular photo, okay, due to some XYZ reasons, whatever it may be. So in that case, what your kid will do, while taking the picture, for 3 toys, he will not cover. For example, if there are 4 toys, in that 3 toys can be visible. Let's say one toy, you don't want to show to the friend. In that case, what he will hide that. Okay, he'll put inside a paper or something. He'll wrap it, and only the remaining 3 toys, he'll take the picture and share, so that the other kid will only see 3 toys in that box. The fourth toy is hidden from the other person. This kind of structure, guys. Okay, the photo will be taken, but after taking the photo, right, the photo will not contain 4 toys. It will contain 3 toys displayed, and the fourth toy will not be captured by the photo. Okay, captured by the camera. Okay, so like that kind of stuff, guys. There are some you see, username can be displayed, but password cannot be displayed, right? So when you are storing such kind of objects into the bytecode, you're converting the objects into the bytecode to store such kind of data of your program in your computer machine or database or something, right? You have some sensitive information that you don't want that to be stored in your wherever that you want to store. In such cases, you specify the transient keyword before that particular variable, so that even though the serialization happens where object get converted into the bytecode, the values of only the variables which are not provided with transient will be stored in that particular machine, or will be converted and stored in your laptop or machine, or database or some text files, etc., or any files. But the sensitive information like passwords will not be converted will not be serialized, basically. Okay, they will be avoided from serialization process. So here, let's take the example of the toy box, where toy box, some object is there, some toys, some variables are there. Okay, some picture, serialization. Okay, toy box is the object, and then toys are the variables, and picture is the serialization process. You want to take the picture of not all the toys, but only whatever the favorite toys are there that you want to, but one toy you don't want to take the picture of. Okay, take a picture without secret note. One of the toy here is a secret note kind of toy. That secret note you don't want to share, let's say. So when you take a picture, you will hide the secret note and take the picture of the toys. Okay, remaining toys except the secret note, for example. Okay, so I'll show you guys how to do this in practical way. For now, theoretically I tried my level best in explaining the transient keyword, when to use and all. Okay, during the serialization process, you have to understand serialization, deserialization. Deserialization is a process. Serialization is the process of converting the object to the bytecode. Okay, to store the data into your computer or database or files or etc. When deserialization is a reverse process of extracting that data from your computer database or text files back into your program. Okay, back into your program, whatever the data that is stored in your machine or computer machine or database or some files, right, that you need to retrieve them back to your program, to access to your program. That is called as deserialization. During that, if a particular field like password variable is specified with transient, during the serialization process, it not be converted to the bytecode and stored in your machine. In that case, when you do deserialization, there is no possibility of getting that particular non-serialized variable like password, right? Will not get password stored, so that you cannot retrieve also. That I want to prove you here. That I want to show you here, guys. First, for this, guys, I need to create a class, guys. I need to create a class here. The same toy example I'll take. I'll just try to demonstrate. Just see whatever I'm trying to demonstrate. Just see, guys. So this kind of concepts are very complex, guys. It's very rare that you expect this kind of questions in the interview. But if you are able to answer to some extent, also interviewer will get impressed by your answer. Okay, this much of knowledge this guy has, you will definitely come to know if this kind of question comes. Transient, right? Transient demo. Transient demo that can be this or transient also is a keyword. Another keyword in Java that can be specified before the variable. So I'll just create one more class here known as class toy box implements serialization. Here I already have the code, guys. Serializable is okay interface. Serializable. I'll try my level best. In may not be correct in spelling. Serializable. I think I gave the correct spelling only. Hover the mouse. Import this from java.io package. Once you make this particular any of the class in Java implement serializable, guys, the object of this particular class can be serialized. Okay, the object, if you create an object for this class, you can serialize this particular object. Okay, then only normal classes which are not implementing the serializable interface, they cannot be serialized, guys. They cannot be converted from the object to the byte code, okay, for transferring purpose. But if a particular class is there that implements a serializable interface, that means the object of that particular class can be serializable and deserializable. Okay, that is possible. Here, what I'll do here is I'll just create some 3 toys kind of stuff, guys. Like this private string. First toy is like, teddy bear, let's say teddy bear. Okay, I'm just copy pasting anyhow, that's okay. Concept is very important, guys, rather than what is the example. String, another toy, let's say a robot toy is there. Robot string, robot toy is there. Another toy is like private string. I told you, right? One toy is like secret note toy is there. Secret note that should not be shared, let's say. Okay, this should not get serializable. Remaining 2 variables you want to serialize. In that case, if you're creating an object for the class toy box class, and if you serialize all these variables, data will get serialized and stored in the computer machine, but you want to exempt this particular variable from getting serialized. So in that case, you have to add a keyword known as transient keyword. Okay, in that case, the remaining 2 variables data only will be converted to the bytecode to store in the whatever the place, like machine, computer machine, or database, or any files. But this particular variable cannot be serialized because you specially mentioned the keyword known as transient, so that this variable is special variable and cannot be serialized or deserialized due to its sensitive nature or something. It cannot be serialized or deserialized. Okay, let's assign some values to this, guys. Let's assign some values to this. Like, for example, I'll create a constructor. You can create some getter, and it's better that constructor is easy, guys. Okay, so create a constructor. How to create a constructor? Public. To initialize this particular variables, I'll create a constructor, guys. Okay, toy box, and here I'll write string teddy bear, comma, string teddy bear, comma, string robot, comma, string secret node, which should not be serialized. We can store, we can initialize that, but we should not be able to store during the serialization process, or that's the process. Okay, so this dot teddy bear is equal to this teddy bear I'll give, and then put a semicolon here, and this dot, what is the next one, guys? This dot robot is equal to robot, let's say, and this dot secret node is equal to secret node. Like this, I'll give the initialization I'll do, and after that, to retrieve this particular data, right? To retrieve this particular data, I'll use getter methods. I'll just go here and go to source here and simply write down override generate getter and setter methods for whom for these 3 variables. I would like to generate the set. I don't want, because already setting is being done by the constructor. Only get I want. This is the easiest way, guys, okay, to generate them. You don't have to write any code. You see, automatically it's generated, the setter methods. That's it, guys. The code is, we created a class. Now let's create an object that need to be converted to the bytecode as part of the serialization, guys. We need to serialize the toy box by converting the object to the bytecode. For that, first we need to create an object for the toy box class, which is implementing the serializable interface. So toy box is equal to new toy box, and you have to pass the, while calling this constructor, you have to pass all these 3 details, like teddy bear details, okay, comma, here write these values, and what type of fluffy is one example, and super robot is super robot, and secret note is my secret note. Okay, like there's some 3 sample that I am passing here. Now I want to serialize this particular object, guys. I want to serialize this particular object. How to serialize the toy box? Like in the example I told you, right? Taking the picture except that variable which is of specified with the toy which is kind of secret toy kind of stuff. Okay, that should be hidden. Okay, by sharing in the photo. Okay, should not be captured. Serialization is a process of converting an object into a stream of bytes. The stream can be saved. The stream of bytes can be saved to a okay, sorry, it's the byte code I was saying from the initial. It is a stream of bytes containing, 0 and 1 and 1 and kind of stuff. Okay, that can be stored in your computer machine or database or something. The stream can be saved to a file. This stream can be saved to a file, sent over a network, or stored in a database. Okay, this is a serialization process, right? Converting the object into a transferable format by converting that into machine level code, like series of stream of bytes or something like that. Okay, so that you can save that information, save that particular object in the stream of bytes format into a file or a network or your computer or a database. Okay, or network you can transfer also. Save the state of the toy box. Okay, during the serialized process, after converting the object into stream of bytes, it will be saved. It will save the state of the toy box in the form of object converted to stream of bytes. It will save the state. But during the saving the state, right, all the variables except the variable that is specified with transient keyword will not be saved. The state of the transient specified variable will not be saved. Remaining normal variables state will be saved into the stream of bytes format. Okay. So how to do that? How to do the serialization process for a particular object here? Create an object for the file output stream, guys. File output stream FOS is equal to new file output stream. Like this, create an object for the file output stream. Control Shift O. File output stream will be imported, and the constructor cannot be empty, guys. Here we have to pass here to the file output stream. You have to pass here in double quotes. You pass toy box dot. If you want to serialize, you have to write SER. Okay, this is how you have to pass. Ignore the exception, guys. You can implement try catch block in real time, but that will make the program complex. I'm just writing like that. Okay, this is a process of serialization, guys. Here the object is getting converted to the that is stream of bytes. Okay, bytes like zeros and ones, whatever it is. And then we have to create an object for the object output stream, guys. Object output stream for writing purpose, for saving purpose. Object output stream OOS is equal to new object output stream. Okay, then FOS I have to give here, I think so. Let's try this. Control Shift O, I'll say, and ignore this exception, possibility of the exception. And after that, use this OOS output stream dot write method. You call the write method, and you just give this object as a toy box. Okay, write object. You have to, instead of write, you have to use write object. Which object you want to store? Write object. This toy box object you want to store. Toy box object you want to store. That you have to give. Okay, this is what is the way of this is a serialization process, guys. After getting serialized, guys, I want to deserialize. How to deserialize, guys? Deserializing the toy box is like looking at the picture where all the toys will be visible, that except that toy which is hidden, that won't be visible. Deserialization is the process of converting the stream of bytes that got saved back into the copy of the original object, converting that stream of bytes back to the object type. Okay. When you load the toy box from the saved state, the secret note is missing. Okay. Secret note will not be stored, guys. This floppy Teddy super robot will be stored, but the secret will not be stored. Okay. The reason behind that is during the serialization process, okay, only the variables which are not specified with transient will be stored. So their state will be stored, but remaining will not be stored. So here for this deserialization, we have to use file input. For serialization, we have used file output stream, right? For deserialization, we have to use file input stream. Give me a second. So let's use this file input stream here. For this is a serialization process of converting the object to the series of byte. Okay, series of bytes. Okay, that is stream of bytes. Now convert the stream of bytes back to the object. Okay, so for that we have to use file input stream. Actually, file input stream FIS is equal to new file input stream. Again, for the deserialization process, give the object that is a toy box object and say SER here again. Put a semicolon. Control Shift O. Yeah, that is done. But the next step, then here we have to write create an object for the object output stream for serialization. Right here we have to write object input stream For deserialization, we have to write object. For reading purpose, we have to write object input stream. OIS is equal to new object input stream of FIS. Okay, stream of FIS we have to give file input stream. Control Shift O. That is also done. Now OIS dot, what is the next line, guys? Okay, OIS dot read object. Here write object, right? Here we have to use read object. Here we are saving the state of that particular object. Okay, all the variables of that particular object. Here we are reading the state of that particular object. Okay, dot read object of the same read object. That's it. Okay, it actually includes, and it will return you. Ignore the exception, guys. The return type of this read object will be what? The return type of this read object will be what? Object. Okay, so here we have to, it will be returning object, but we have to convert it into the toy box and return, guys. Toy box class return type, convert that object type into the toy box type, and then here return that. How to return that? Here you can mention loaded toy box. Loaded toy box is equal to the return type will be toy box. Now done. Now using this, you try to access this methods, get teddy bear, get robot, get secret node. You try to access. Okay, system.out.println loaded toy box. After serialization and deserialization, you call these methods to get teddy bear. Okay, system.out.println loaded toy box got what is that next one, guys? Get robot. Then system.out.println loaded toy box dot get secret node. For these two things, you will get the value printed in the output, guys. But except for secret node, because it is specified with here it is specified with transient keyword, because of which it will not be deserialized, and it will not be serialized, and when you deserialize also, it will not be able to access. So storing will not happen, and because of which null value will come. In place of that, null value will come fluffy, super, and for transient keyword specified variable, right? You got the null because it will not allow you to serialize or deserialize. Okay. So this is a program, guys. Is an entire program that you can practice, guys. Is an entire program that you guys can practice. Okay, to understand the concept of this transient keyword specified before a variable. Okay. I don't know whether I can, I'll just do one thing. I'll just copy this code. Final code I'll write here. Here I'll write final code. In the notes, you will have final code, and I'll just provide this here, final code, and it will be there here. And along with that, I want you to take a screenshot, guys. Okay, take a screenshot of this particular code of this transient demo class having the main method. Hope you have taken the screenshot of this. Now take the screenshot of this toy box code, where one of the variable is specified as transient. This is the code. Now try to practice in your machine, guys, the transient. Similarly, also take the screenshot of this volatile demo. Okay, take the screenshot of this particular program also. Hope you have taken the screenshot of this code and you will practice in your machine. So with practical demonstration, guys, with practical and theoretical demonstration, theoretical explanation, I have answered properly what is the difference between volatile and transient in Java. These keywords can be used before variables. That is a common point, but there is no particular difference, guys. But the question is framed like that. So we just have to give the purpose of this volatile. What will happen if you specify volatile keyword before a variable? What will happen when you specify the transient keyword before a variable? If you can explain these concepts with some writing, some logic and all, right, the interviewer will definitely get impressed, okay, with your answer, because it's not a general thing that everyone knows. It's a complex thing that very few people knows. Okay, so hope guys you got the answer for this question. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye.